Hi my friends, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a fresh episode of our City Zoo build, Tropical Wings Zoo. So here we are my friends, we are back in Tropical Wings and we are here for another episode. I know, your minds are blown, aren't they? The fact you're going to get an episode in just a few days after the other one. If you've missed last episode though, it is linked above my friends. There was a massive trigger warning in the last episode. I kept calling them Babarasu instead of Babarusa. So yeah, I nearly got it wrong then. But yeah, the Babarusa habitat, feel free to go check it out my friends if you've not done so already. But if you've already done that, then it's time to have a look at the newest addition to our Indonesian/Asian area. Yes, let's do it. It's time for the Binturong. So here we are, we start at the entrance. I do this every single time, even though I gave it away in the title, and I give it away in the thumbnail, and I give it away basically all the time. I just like to start here, because at the end of the day, this is kind of where everyone's going to be starting, isn't it? You're going to see in the bottom left-hand corner, there are some guests there. I have no idea why, but the zoo decided to open itself when I loaded up. I don't know if that's a glitch, so if you are someone like me who keeps your zoo closed while you're building, be sure to check that. I don't really know what happened, but it did. Anyway, let's crack on. So basically, we are going to move around this way, gang. We're going to go this way. And we are going to get to this little road here, and this heads up into the Asian area, basically. Now, I'm calling this sort of Indo-Asia because it's more Indonesian animals than it is anything else, and it's going to be a nice little pocket. Obviously, there's lots of other Asian animals, and especially animals from this sort of part of the world as well that we've got that we can do. The orangutans, for instance, but I'm going to do something really special for them in a slightly different area. Borneo, it is still, that part of the world, but there's a few that I'm going to save. I'm not going to put them all here. I've picked the animals that I'm going to do. Now, one thing I'm going to say before we crack on with today's episode is that this isn't completely finished. The Binturong's section sort of is, but there are some bigger missions from today's episode. This isn't so much a work in progress, but it's stuff that I couldn't complete because I'm actually going to be pairing this with the sun bear. I'm going to explain all as I take you through the build today, but obviously I want to do this in sections. I didn't want to give you the Binturong and the sun bear, and if I'd have done that, you would have been waiting weeks for another episode. So the way it's going to work, basically, there are some bits that are unfinished. I've not done a lot of the roof details either, and the reason for that is because the back of the building is going to merge with the sun bear hab, and then I'm going to do it all together. I like doing things in sections, so I like to, like for instance, I'll take the detailing on the outside of the building, then I'll take the detailing on the roof, then I'll take the detailing in another part. I like to do everything in little bite-sized chunks, basically. That's how I build, and I find that I'm more efficient that way. So I've left a few bits of detail, but all of the detailing on the inside and even the pathway and stuff like that is all done. One thing as well that was brought to my attention was that I didn't do any educational boards for the Babarusa, and I'm going to be working on that, gang. Basically, all the boards are going to be put in place, but I'm going to do all of the actual creating of the boards at a later date. And I'm actually thinking about bringing you an episode where I speed build all the work I do in Photoshop to create all of the educational boards, because I'm going to do something really special for the Binturong wall, because I've named them. I've kind of got a little backstory that I'm going to integrate into these guys as part of the narrative for Tropical Wings. Now, we're going to come up this way. I obviously said about this area, it's a big grey mess at the moment, so I decided to add some benches. I've changed this up slightly. I've put another wayfinder board in here. I am thinking as well, obviously, I know that we've got Mr. Gecko working on the map in the background. Eventually, when we get to a point where we've got the map, because at the end of the day, I don't want Mr. Gecko to keep sending me the map, because the zoo's going to continue to expand, and especially if I'm building at the rate that I've built these two habs. maps as well. He'd be updating it all the time. So when we do eventually get it, I'm going to put a map around here somewhere as well. But this area needs to be kept clear. Now, someone did suggest potentially maybe putting a design on the floor, but I just feel like it'd get beat up here because it's going to be a heavy traffic area. So I'm going to kind of leave this, but I have added some a detail in the back of this area that's going to bring this area to life anyway. So we work this way. You've got your Babarusa to the left hand side there. That's what we did last episode, gang. I've been working on the pathway, doing the planting and whatnot, and I've really kind of been messing around with this area as well, just to kind of bring it to life a little bit more. Now you're going to see there's a big change from what I had originally planned. I was going to do this circular bit here, wasn't I? It was going to be water, we was going to have a raised platform and whatnot on top. Now the more I looked at it and the more that I studied the Binturong, the more I had a bit of reading about them, and the more the more I was kind of informed by you, the community, about how the Binturong actually interact in the game, it seemed like a real pointless thing to be putting really extensive walkways over to this, because they probably won't use it. They don't actually climb all that much in the game, even though they kind of spend the majority of their time in real life up in the trees and whatnot in the wild. For whatever reason in the game, they don't necessarily do that. So I have given them some climbing, apparatus and stuff inside the Binturong house. There is a little bit outside that I'm going to explain a little bit about as well, because I've built everything with a view for it working a certain way. But I just felt it would have been massive overkill to spend all my time doing that if the animal isn't really going to use it in the game. It's not like the Mandrill, who actually use their walkway all the time, so it's a really cool interactive thing in the zoo. This would have just been pointless. So instead, what I've done, so I'll zoom out so you can see it. What I've done instead is I've put a real kind of like heavy walkway in here, so our guests can really move around, freely, all in this area. And then I was kind of left with this little hub next to it, because I didn't want the building to be flush to this gate. I just felt like it's going to be quite noisy. I didn't want it to be flush there, and I was left with this kind of small area. So what I've decided to do is put a little seated area. So I've put a little hot dog stand here. It looks similar to the ice cream stands and whatnot, but this one's actually going to be a little hot dog stand. And then I've put a bunch of vending machines. I'll take you in closer in a minute so you can take a look. But I just kind of want to explain from over the top. Put a vending machine. Put a little lean-to. We got this wall at the back. I'm thinking on the inside of this wall of using the new screens that we got in the game and building a mural out of a few of them onto the wall, maybe like a really cool sort of painting, and it's something I could do maybe on Photoshop or whatnot, and have like a tropical wings type thing with some fancy writing, and just have it look and make it look like it was spray painted on the wall. I think it might look really cool. I think it might be a really cool addition to the zoo, and I think it might be something that we would be worth looking into doing, so we don't have this like hot white wall basically. But I'll take you in closer now so you can get a better look. So this is the new seating and the wayfinder there. If you was to come round this way, this is what I was saying, this is the hot dog stand. Obviously all the boards are blank. I'm going to do all the boards like I've already said at a later date, but we've got seating here. We've got a big planted area which is really nice as well, because it kind of disguises the zoo, so you're not getting too much given away and whatnot. You've really got to kind of like make the effort to go and look at the animals, and then if we spin it around this way, this is what I've created basically. So we've always had these circular planters, and I decided to make this longer one, and I actually think it looks really, really nice. And I might scatter a few of these around the zoo as well. We've got that there, and then if you walk in this way, you can see we've got nice little seats here, some vending machines. You've got your little hot dog stand, but it's somewhere that you could just take a load off as well. A little bit of planting, and then this is the windows, as this is the Binturong indoor house here. Now the Binturong are going to have an outdoor area. They're going to have access to the sun bears, but obviously I've not built them yet, but eventually we'll get round to that, and I'm going to explain all as we go along in today's episode. And I'll probably be talking a little bit in the What's Happening Next. I give you an extensive What's Happened Next in last episode, but this one I will be talking about what we're going to be doing. So yeah, they're just a nice little seated area. But as you can see, it's quite glaring, that white wall, isn't it? If we could make something like a mural or something cool to go on the wall, I think it would look really, really nice. If the mural looks a bit strange, I am thinking about maybe ivy or some grapevines or something like that along that wall. It might just bring it to life a little bit. So yeah, that is that. So we've got a nice little seated area. We've got this here, nice little bit of planting, and then you are brought to your Binturong house, my friends. Now, at the moment, it's not completely finished, like I've already said. There's going to be a few bits in here that you're going to look at and they're going to stick out like a sore thumb, but they will, next episode, all be finito because the sun bears will be put in. That's probably what I'm going to be working on next episode. I've come across a bit of an issue as well with the animal talks. Now, you used to be able to hide the animal talks underground, but for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's just me that's going through this feature, but we can't actually go under the map anymore. You used to be able to tick something in the options, and it used to be go under the map, and it used to be able to lower a piece of path really, really low, stick the animal talk on it, and it hid it basically. And for whatever reason, we can't do it now. So we've got these horrible, ugly animal talk things. Now, I've put it over there for now. I'm going to explain more when we get to that area, but it's not going to stay there. Got to try and find a way to hide it. But yeah, this is the Binturong house. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go in the entrance, we're going to walk around the house first, we're going to come out, and then I'm going to talk you through all the bits and bobs and show you how it looks, in a bit more detail, and then there's a little bit at the end after this to be showing you as well. So, here we go, gang. Let's go on inside the Binturong house. So this is going to be the first little area. This is like your little foyer area. We've actually got access here for our staff. I've got to get all the stuff like staff access only, but I will take you this way. So this is going to be like the little room for the staff. So basically this door goes into a little outdoor area, which we'll talk about when we get to the end. And this goes into their main hab. Basically, that's the main door for their hab. So we go this way. We've kind of put little automatic doors in here so they just swing open basically for you. You go through the door and this is what you are met with, my friends. So I'm going to talk you through all of this. I've gone to town on the detail. A lot of you might be really surprised that I've turned this around so quickly. To think that the Babirusa habitat only went out on Thursday last week and it's Monday and I've already turned this around might be a bit of a surprise, but I literally started working on this the minute I'd finished that other hab. So I'd started work on this before that one had even gone live last week. So yeah, I'm just in the groove again. I really want to get back into Planet Zoo and I'm just loving the game at the minute. I'm inspired with this area. So what I really wanted to do with the Binturong was, like I said when I was talking about the What's Happening Next in last episode, is that I wanted to bring them this really vibrant house, but I wanted to give them the ability to go outside in the warmer months. The majority of the year, they're probably going to be kept in here, but when we get to our spring and summer, then they're going to have access to the sun bear hab, and I think it'll just be really, really cool. And I think it'll be nice, but this is probably where you'll find the Binturong for the majority of the time. This is going to be where they are. This is their house. So it had to be something special. Now, I've used a lot of the design, the designs that I use for the Aldabra house, basically. The roof's very similar, the glass, but then I've gone with this like more sort of industrial wall type thing, metal walls and whatnot, mixed it up with the wood, but it's all the same colours as that house, believe it or not, apart from the wood. I changed the wood colour up because I wanted it to feel a little bit more, Asian inspired. So that's basically what I come with. So on this side, we've got a really big viewing window. So we've got two larger ones that are slightly lower so the kids can see through. And then the one in the middle is a little higher up so the adults can kind of get there. There's going to be no kiddies in the way. They can take their time. But a really, really big viewing area here when you first come in to the habitat. As you can see, I've done some real clever lighting on the ceiling, some custom lights. What I'll do is I'll actually show you what this looks like with all the lights on as well, so you can get a good look. So as you can see, all the lights are all custom. And what I've done with the indoor area is I've left some dark spots, because obviously Binturong are a little bit of a nocturnal animal as well. So I've left some dark spots so it feels a bit more natural to them. But yeah, it looks really cool, all lit up as well, doesn't it, my friends? So yeah, just wanted to show you that. Let's get it back to the daylight hours that I like, around about 12 o'clock. It's the best lighting in the game. There you go, a little hot tip. So yeah, that's that bit, my friends. So this is the sort of view that the guests are going to get, and as you can see, our 2 Binturong are there. And I'm going to introduce you to the Binturong because I've given them special names. And it's all part of their narrative and their story. But as you can see, really, really lush inside there. I'm going to take you around the inside. I'm going to walk you around and show you it all in more detail. So you would carry on walking up here, and this was a bit of an experience, this. I will say that, because you're going to see the Binturong, and then you're going to carry on walking this way. And then you come to this planter and a little seated area here. Now on this wall, we're going to have the story of our Binturong, because they're very special, our Binturong. They've been donated to the zoo by another zoo. And the head keeper of that zoo was a big fan of Elton John. And his favourite song is Benny and the Jets. And so, as a result, our Binturong are called Benny and Jet. And we're basically on this wall going to do the story of our Binturong. Now, I've actually come up with a really cool way of manipulating the education boards and the screens so that you can get different shapes. And I've not done it now because I've not done all the boards. But what I'm going to do is that episode in the future, maybe when this series finished, and do the speed builds of all the boards being put together, and I'll actually put them all in and I'll show you how it's going to work out. But on that wall there, it isn't going to be left blank. It's going to be a big story of Benny and Jet, and a few bits of information about Binturong, like unique pieces of information, because I really feel like we need to do that. As cool as all the information boards are that I've got around the zoo, they are all generic, they all match up. I want to have a few where we have some unique stuff. I'm going to go back and do it in the primate house as well, because I think the like standout parts of the zoo, I think, really need to feel unique, and so I am going to do that in here. So yeah, there's a little planter there, nice little glassed area. There's no windows on the side of this building, so I've put the majority of them up in the roof and then done all the lighting. Then we get to the end, and I wanted something else in here. I really wanted to add something because, you know, as cool as the Binturong are, it's a big old building, and so what I've decided to do at the back is throw in some insects. Now in the middle is actually the leaf, the giant leaf insect. That's actually an exhibit box in the middle. This is a whole box here, and so what I just did is I took some plaster pieces and I just made windows. I just made smaller windows, and then these on the side are actually made by me. I've just used mulch and some of the fake trees and rocks, a few little plants, and you can make some really cool little like insect and reptile like vivariums basically, and it come out really nice, didn't it? It looks really, really cool. If you look at it from this angle, it looks amazing. Obviously, if you go in a bit close, then you can see that there's no ceiling, and that's just one big exhibit and whatnot. There is a ceiling on these because you know, you can manipulate that a bit more. But we've got these little information boards, and I'm gonna you know, find some species from that part of the world that we can write on those boards as well. They're going to act as you know, sort of fake exhibits, so to speak, because there's not going to be anything in them. But I just think like it brings the wall to life, and it just adds a little more to the experience basically. So yeah, and it's nice as well because we've got our first you know, insect and our first sort of exhibit animal in the zoo basically. As I've said a million times, I think the exhibit boxes are just way too large. I would love it if Frontier could give us a few different sizes, a small, medium and a large. I think it would make more sense, especially the insects. They get lost in these boxes. They're impossible to see, and you just can't appreciate them as much. And you know, as cool as the animals are, you know, the bigger animals and whatnot, some of the details on these animals is incredible, but you just don't appreciate them because they've not taken the time, in my opinion, to give us suitable sort of vivariums. I think if they gave us, you know, like this is a really, really good example. Small, medium, large. That's what I think we should have been given, and then it would have made more sense. But instead, you know, people like me, they just kind of build their own anyway. So we've got that. Then we turn around the corner, and this is like non-functional at the moment, because this is going to go to the behind the scenes, the backstage area for our Binturong basically, but eventually that will work. Once we've got the sun bears in, that's all going to work. I'm going to talk to you about that towards the end of today's episode, but that's actually their walkway. I've kind of put the mesh there at the minute, but I am thinking that potentially for indoors we might have been better off using glass potentially. I think it might have looked nicer and it might have made more sense. Also, the one thing I should say is the flooring is this colour at the minute. It's generic, but I'm not sure if I'm going to change the floor up. I might just leave it because I actually don't hate it. I was going to tile it, like do a nice tiled design, but I haven't done that. I totally forgot, and I think it's just because this hasn't hurt my eyes that much, and so I've just kind of left it. But yeah, as we come round this way, we're met with another viewing window. And again, I've done it the same way. I've done a large one, so it's a bit lower, so, you know, the younger guests can get up close and personal and take a look. And then we've done a slightly higher one. And the reason for this one as well, there's a couple of reasons, is we've got this big sort of mound here, and there's a little sleeping area. So from time to time, you might see the Binturong just having a little snooze up there, and I think it's a really cool addition. And then if you're looking this way, this is where the little water feature is. And, you know, there's a little log that they walk across and whatnot. So I just thought it was a nice addition. But again, a really good view of the house and, you know, the Binturong's enclosure, basically. We carry on walking up this way, gang. We're met with one of our little donation stations. I thought it was perfect to have this in here. You're going to see not only Binturong, but we have got Sunbear as well. I need to do a different sign. I just basically copied and pasted this from a different part of the zoo. But we do need to get a different sign in there. And I probably need to get like a little box and stuff that things are kept in and a few bits for the desk. But just thought it was a nice place to have this. Now we turn the corner. Now this is the bit of the building that's not really finished. All the floor, the ceilings and that are all done. But there's a window here that I'm going to explain what that's for, and it's quite wide here as well. I expect this to be quite a busy part of the experience. Basically, there's going to be lots of people on their way out of the Binturong experience, and as well as that, there's going to be people standing here having a look through this window. So if we carry on moving up this way, again, you're going to see glass in the ceiling because I've decided not to put any windows on the walls, and then our exit door is there. Now, what I am going to be doing is I'm probably going to be splitting this down the middle. And there's going to be a small sort of wooden type building the other side of this eventually. And it's just going to be like a little sleepy type area for our sunbears. Somewhere for them to escape during the day where they could probably just have a chill, have a snooze in their enclosure rather than having to go all the way to the backstage area to go and do so. So that's what this is going to be. And there's going to be a nice little sign on the wall saying, can you see the sunbears sleeping? If not, turn right on the exit to see more, basically. So it's kind of a cool thing. So it navigates our guests to go and have a better look at the sunbears. But, you know, you might see them having a little snooze. And that's the plan there. So essentially, we've worked 3 animals into this one building. We've got the Binturong, we've got the giant leaf insect, and then we're going to have a little sunbear area. And if you think about it, we've made those fake exhibits as well, so that they act as kind of like animals, don't they? They're kind of filling in for the animals that are not currently in the game. So then we walk up this way. As you can see, I've left the benches just normal benches for now, but I am going to detail them the same way I have done around the other side eventually. And then we come this way and we are out of the house. And then you're met with this beautiful fountain on exit. Now, someone actually mentioned to me that the zoo needed more stuff like this. It's a pretty zoo, it really, really is. But someone said it probably needs some statues, or it needs a fountain, it needs something. And so I've decided to kind of just add this little fountain design. I'll take you over and have a better look in a moment. But I want to show you this because this is still part of the experience and of the exhibit. So as you can see, I've put a little animal talk station in here, and it's because what I plan to do is have this area here as our little sort of animal talk area. So as you can see, this isn't as natural. This is a bit more sort of man-made. It's like a little worktop. There's a little walkout area and some logs and whatnot. And this is going to be like an educational talk area, basically, where the Binturong will be in here. It's a nice little space. It's not too over the top. And the Binturong can actually get down and use this, which is really cool. I absolutely love that. And then we've obviously put the door on the side. But yeah, it's all nicely detailed up. And I actually think it looks really, really nice, doesn't it? For a little outdoor area. I'll put some planting in just to make it look a little natural and some little fake rocks on the back. And yeah, that's what that's going to be. That's like our animal talk area. The Binturong will be there when the animal talks are going on. I know the game doesn't really work like that, but a real zoo would have these little spaces to potentially do the education and whatnot. And I thought it was a really nice place as well because the people can sort of stand here and gather here, even sit on the edge of the fountain while they listen, but there's still enough space for the traffic to get to go back and forth, basically. So that's essentially what that's going to be. Now what I'm going to do is dive on inside so that you can take a look at the Binturong's house in a bit more detail, actually. So first and foremost, this is their main sort of hab. This is what they're dealing with. I didn't want to go like a mega lush like I did the other tropical house, but obviously you want to bring some green in, you want to bring some life. So what I've done is, rather than put trees in here, high trees, because we know the Binturong will climb them, I've done these hanging baskets. All I've done with these, there are some baskets in the game if you play it. There are these little hanging baskets in the game. I put some ferns inside and then just used the ivy, put them in, rotate, and you end up filling it up basically, and you make these beautiful hanging baskets. And I think they really fill the skyline in the building, because obviously the ceilings are quite high, but lots of natural light. Obviously we've got all the artificial lights in here as well, lots of ventilation either side. We've got ventilation at the top, and like I say, was inspired by the Aldabra building. We used that one to kind of do this, so I've done it in a very similar style, similar colours and whatnot, but the green in here is slightly more sort of toned down on the walls. As you can see, this is how they get outside. There's lots of little climbing nooks and whatnot that they can use, and they do actually use them, and they can use them. And again, like for majority of the indoor stuff, I like to use the fake rocks, because the zoos will use more of this material where they'll kind of build it up, won't they? So if you kind of use that a bit more, as you can see, the little walkway, there's their little thing now. And if we spin it around, there's loads more here. We've got all these rocks all built up, loads more kind of walking area here. And then they've got a high little they've got a high perch up here that they can get up on and have a little snooze as well, but they can walk along this way, all along the back. Loads of little areas. This is their pond. There's a nice little sort of jet in there as well, little fountain in there just to keep the water going. More climbing area over here, scratching pad. They can climb up there and sleep on the top, and then that there is going to be the entrance to the walkway through. Now I've got to try and think of a clever way to get our Binturong up there, because I've tried to put a little climbing thing from there to it, but for whatever reason it doesn't work from this. So they can get up here and sleep on there, because I've seen them do it, because I've tested all the building. But if I put a little climbing thing up there, that won't work. So I'm really not sure what I'm going to do there, but I've got to do something clever to get them up. And I'm sure that I will think of something. And then I've done all the glass on the ceiling here. It's slightly different over this side. It's a bit more of a flat roof. So it is slightly different on this side. I've angled it all on the inside, but on the outside it's all flat and squared off. Just it's weird little details like that that really bring things to life. So that's something that's not finished, but it will be by the time that the hab is all opened up. So yeah, it looks really nice, doesn't it? It looks really pretty, really vibrant, considering it's like an indoor thing and it's more about the frames and the climbing and whatnot. And Benny and Jet are down here having a little mooch about on the ground, when I would prefer them to be up on their climbing frames personally. But yeah, one of them's got a habit of just sleeping here all the time. But yeah, they seem to like it. They do seem to like it, gang. So, yeah, you'll have to let me know what you make of it in the comment section below. Obviously, there's still a little bit of work to do, a few more little details to add, but for the most part, it's pretty much there. And the last thing I want to show you is the fountain in a bit more detail. You'll see it all working in the cinematics towards the end of today's episode. But yeah, that's the little fountain. That's what I decided to do. Just add that in there. Got some little plants and whatnot. Little one in the middle and some fountains and some jets, and it is really nice actually when it's going, and it really kind of adds something to the area. I like it. I really like it. I thought it was just a nice little addition, basically. Not sure about this colour on the inside. I actually think it's too close to the grey, so I might change that up to a different colour. Maybe this colour. We'll just change it up, basically. But other than that, I think it is absolutely bang on. And that, my friends, right there is exactly what I've been working on. So let me know in the comment section below what you make of the build, and I really appreciate all your comments, and yeah, I look forward to bringing you what's next, and that is what we are about to talk about. So this is the area that we're working on currently. I've done a lot, haven't I, really, in the space of a week. I'm actually really surprised at how quick I've managed to put this together. Just goes to show, though, that if you take a bit of an extended break, when you do jump back in, you really want to get cracking with it. But yeah, we've built a lot so far. So the next thing, obviously, is going to be the sun bears. So as you're going to see at the back here, I have sort of semi-started the backstage stuff for our Binturong, so they're obviously going to come in here. Now I've got to be clever about this walkway, so I've got to have it go into a little backstage area, but I've also got to have a bit that comes off this way and it goes into the sun bear hab that's going to be to the side, basically. So that's got to go that way, and then we've got to have an entrance point for our sun bear to come in, because they're going to have a part of this building as well. I think it just makes sense to condense it all into one building rather than having loads of separate buildings here, because obviously I was saying in last episode it was nice to do another hab that was outside, but again I've done another indoor habitat. As much I really wanted to do that, and I absolutely love how it's turned out, but again it's another indoor thing, isn't it? So I don't want to have a building here and then a building here for the sun bears. We might as well just condense it all into one area and have it all kind of locked in there. Now what I'm planning to do is the sun bears are going to be here, basically. We're going to have their little nook there that's going to be their little sleeping quarters. They're going to have their backstage is going to be here, and so I'd imagine their hab is going to come round this way, and it's going to kind of nestle in here, essentially. Now what I want to do is I want to try and bend this round this way, because I want the tapirs to be around about here, because with the tapirs I want to do this kind of like elevated walkway that goes up, and it's going to be a weird angle the way it's going to work, and that's going to go to a higher piece of ground, because over here I want to try and bring the zoo up a touch. I want to try and bring the level of the zoo up a touch. We're going to keep it this level down here because I've already put the tunnel in. But over here, I want to try to bring the land just up a touch, maybe like half a metre or whatnot. It's not going to be anything too extreme, but just bring it up a little bit, because you want different elevations in your zoo. We've got it. We've definitely got it. Believe it or not, this is slightly lower than this side. And as you know, we're higher here than we are here, because we go up steps and stuff to get there. And we obviously, this is a lot higher than the rest of the zoo, because you have to go up. It's elevated, that part. So we just want to continue to do that, basically. We don't want to get stuck with everything on the same level. So I do want to take the zoo up slightly over here. So there's going to be this walkway. So it's going to start from this level, and it's going to be really gradual the way it's going to go up. And it's going to, you know, kind of cut through the side of the sun bears, and then it's going to come and it's going to be like the tapirs, basically. And I'm thinking about it going almost through the middle of the tapir hab. So the tapirs, you'll see both sides, essentially. That's what I'm sort of planning on doing. But got to try and do it in a tasteful way, essentially, somehow. But yeah, I've got plans, I've got ideas. We're just going to do that. Now, something else I'm going to do with the sun bears is at the front of it. So what I want to do is the sun bears habitat's going to be banked almost at a 45-degree angle. It's going to start low at the front and finish high at the back. But to do that, and for the house to still work, the back of it can't be too much higher than this. And if it is, we need to have the ability to bring it down gradual to get into this backstage house. So I'm going to take the ground at the front of it down a bit, and I'm going to put like a little building, like a little covered viewing section there with a glass thing. I see a Formosan bear, I think it was, when I was looking for inspiration online, and there was this thing where the glass viewing section was at the front. It banked almost at like a 45-50 degree angle all the way to the back. It was really gradual the way it worked its way down. There was a stream that trickled down to the front, lots of climbing rocks and all sorts. It was really beautiful habitat, but the building at the front was really clever because it was actually lower than ground level, and it had this little glass windows that were at ground level, so you could kind of almost look through, but you'd have to bend down to look through. It was really clever. It was really cool, and yeah, that's what I'm thinking of doing, basically. That's what I'm thinking of doing, something like that. So the viewing section will be slightly lower here, but then we're going to have a little walkway that kind of comes this way, and then it's going to come back on itself to go to the tapirs. So you will still get like a slightly higher up view of the sun bears as well. And I just think it'll work out really nice. This is going to be like a really, really extremely different area to the rest of the zoo because of the way that I'm deciding to do it. It's going to be like quite a few animals in a condensed area, basically. Because the hill's going to be about here with the Komodos. You're going to have your sun bears here, and then your tapirs are going to kind of have this weird shaped habitat here. But we still got to have a way to get out. So we're going to have a way from the top of the hill, and you're going to come down, and you're going to come off this way, and then that walkway for the tapirs, that's going to kind of meet that about there. But in here is going to get a bit lost. Like, you're not really going to have any pathways out. You're going to be forced up to the Komodos and forced around the tapirs to go and to get that way, because then it kind of makes our guests go and look at the animals as much as possible. I want to try and think about getting some sort of food service in here as well. I was going to put it here, but I feel like it's a bit close if I put it there. So what I'm thinking is, at the back of the Komodos, like once you come down, then I might put a little food stall like here, and then I think the distance is a bit nicer if it's at the back of it. You know, because if I look at it, that distance there, if we did that distance again, it's about right, isn't it, if we have it over there? So there is going to be some sort of food stall as well. I do want to try and work that in. And then over here is going to be the elephants. I have no plans to do the elephants anytime soon, no, I'm going to be honest, because that's going to be a big undertaking. That's going to be a massive build, so I'm really not thinking about it. I'm thinking of just doing this area, this Indonesian, Asian area, and then once that's done, I'm going to move on and do something else, basically. What I want to try and do is work on certain areas with certain animals and certain themes for sort of 5 episodes at a time, and then change it up. Because not only is it good for me and my creativity and my workflow, it will be good for you to watch, because it can get mundane knowing that you're going to see the same thing every time. You know, if I do another 3 episodes of this and then we jump and did the sea lions, for instance, that's such an extreme change for you and me that it's exciting, isn't it? Or if I go back to Africa and I build one of those animals and then go and build... It's nice to keep it fresh and keep it changing up. But essentially, gang, that's it for today. That's what we're doing next time. The sun bears. The Binturong have been today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And so there you have it, my friends. We are done and dusted for another episode of Tropical Wing Zoo. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Like I've already said during the course of today's episode, be sure to get involved in that comment section below. Let me know what you've made of the build so far. Obviously, I know it is a little bit of a work in progress, but once the sun bears are in, this will all be finito and it will look beautiful, hopefully. But I am done for today. If you're new around here, please consider hitting that subscribe button, drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed this, and be sure to check out the description box for all of my socials, including the Discord, where we have a hell of a community and a hell of a good time, so make sure you check that out. But until the next one, stay safe, stay humble, and I will see you real soon.